Hello out there, everyone. May y'all be, and we're continuing with I'm a Magical Girl's Pet. Oh, and if you just joined, you're welcome. Glad you made it here, and I hope you all enjoy your stay. And always remember the most important character is you, the readers. Let's get it up. Let's get it up. Hanoka and I rushed downtown to the location Juna gave us as soon as we put the phone down. A dozen shadow monsters surround Juna from all sides. Juna! Charlotte, we have to help her! You got it! I focus my energy on Hanoka as she charges a spell. I call upon the moon's power! The bright flashing light rains from the sky and targets the shadows. The shadows hisses and turns in our direction. The moment they do, Juna casts a spell of her own. Celestial Rays! We're routing them. Keep up the good work. As long as we continue this, then a large fireball flies from the right. Everyone, look out! Juna and Hanoka quickly jump out of the way. But then, an even bigger monster emerges from the end of the street. It's from Ma. I can see fire as it breathes out. What kind of monster is that? That's an even more powerful kind of shadow monster. It can be extremely dangerous, but be careful, everyone. The large shadow monster growls as it hurls another fireball in our direction. Counter! Juna's defensive spell crashes with the fireball. The other shadows begin to gather around us again. Oh crap! We're surrounded! We need to hold them back! Solar flare! In an instant, I am blinded by a bright light. When I open my eyes again, all of the shadow monsters are gone. What happened? A young woman who looks a little older than us stands at the edge of the street. She's wearing a strange clothing, but it's not similar to Juna or Hanoka's. She smirks. Well, you guys look like you were struggling. It'd be a shame if you were squashed by shadows just now. She then looks at me with a grin. Especially you, little familiar. She starts to make her way towards us. I leap in front of Hanoka and Juna. Stay back, you girls. She seems really strong. She might be a witch. Both Hanoka and Juna turn to each other, blinking. Charlotte, you don't have to worry about her. Pennies! What? Why not? Because she's on our side. She's my senior, Ray. A pleasure to meet you, Charlotte. I'm sorry if I looked intimidating. Miss Rain? It's an honor to see you again. Hanoka, how many times do I have to tell you? Just call me Ray. Right, Miss Ray. The tension from earlier immediately dissipates. I couldn't help but notice the large amount of shadows here. So I decided to drop by and help. Does that mean you contain the witch from earlier? I'm afraid not. She's an elusive one. She knows when a battle is too much for her. She left before I could defeat her. Pennies! Are you talking about Sayoka? You know her name? Oh, that's right. We were planning to tell Juna that as well. It's a long story. Then it's best we retreat to somewhere safe. Do your best to catch us up to speed. We return to Hinoka's house. Hinoka and I explain how Sayoka has recently become our new classmate. We also talk about our discovery of how I can change forms depending on time of day. Oh, I see. It's a lot happened so far as the past few days. The presence of Sayoko also coincides with the spike of shadows and dark energy in the city. Ray, does that mean she could be more senior witch then? A senior witch? A senior witch or magical girl is someone with a high power level.
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000? There's no way that...
Oh, but it is. Ray, for instance, is the most senior magical girl in the group. That explains why she obliterated those shadow monsters so fast. Sayoka, being a senior witch, would explain why that curse had such a powerful effect on Charlotte. But some things don't add up. Oh, better for kissing! How so? She was obviously overwhelmed by both Hinoka and I, and she's been avoiding Ray as well. Then that means there's probably that a senior witch is her ally. She may very well be working in the shadows. And if that is the case, we need to track her pennies down immediately. Charlotte, this is where you come in. Use your connection with Sayoka's classmate to find the clues as to where her senior may be. A senior witch is an extremely powerful foe. They could be threatened the safety of our city. How should I respond? Okay, I'll talk to Sayoka and ask her about... Don't be silly, Charlotte. She's obviously not going to tell you anything. She was willing to talk to us before, wasn't she? That may be true, but it doesn't mean she isn't hiding things from you. Or worse, lying to you. Juna's right. It's best to never trust a witch. I'd like you to gather this information in another way. I want you to follow her. Pennies! After class, try to find out where she goes. She's bound to report her Penny's senior witch eventually. But it might be dangerous for Charlotte. Oh, Hinoka, better for kissing. Let me get close. What if I follow her instead? Juna shakes her head. There are too many shadow monsters at the moment. They're even starting to appear during the day. Besides, Sayaka hasn't attacked you in public. It should be fine as long as she stays in public areas. Do you think you're up to the task, Charlotte? I can do much when I'm not a familiar. So I'm more than willing to help this way. Excellent. We expect to hear good things from you. After classes the next day, Hanoka and I speak privately. You remember what to do, Charlotte? Yep. I follow her pennies until I find any leads. The moment I do, I'll contact you girls so that we can take her pennies and the senior witch on together. Good. Please be careful, okay? I don't know what I'd do if anything bad happened to you. I'll be alright. You take care too, Hanoka. Hanoka and I smile warmly. Hanoka smiles warmly and leaves. It's then that I notice Sayaka leaving the school building. This is my cue. I follow Sayaka out onto the street, into town. She passes by several shops, but hasn't even gone anywhere remarkable yet. Maybe she isn't meeting her senior witch today. Sayaka stops and looks over her shoulder. I stay hidden behind a corner. Is this it? Is she finally going to meet her senior? Sayaka sighs heavily. I know you're here, Charlotte. What? I know you've been following me since we left school. You might as well come out and talk to me properly. So much for spying on her panties. I warningly step out from around the corner. Sayaka's arms crossed. Care to explain why you're stalking me? Stalking you? I wasn't following you. Is that why every time I turned around, I saw you ducking behind a tree or a car? Sayaka raised an eyebrow at me. Alright, fine, I was following you and your panties! Figures, if you wanted to talk, then you could have just said so. I scratched the back of my head. It's not that easily. I understand. The magical girls asked you to follow me, didn't they? How did you know? That's the only reason you'd follow me. Outside of being a creep, this is. Because you were honest enough to show yourself, I'll entertain any question you have. I hesitate. She's been civil to me so far, right? I think I could tell her, pennies! Sayaka, do you have a senior witch with you in the city? Of course not, I work alone. Does that mean you're the one causing all the dark energy in the city then? Sayaka stiffens. No, I simply manage whatever existing energy there is to fuel myself. Other witches may do that, but not me. Oh, butts up for kissing. Hey, Sayaka, let me get close to you. And you're not lying? Sayaka sighs. Look, it'll be your choice whether or not you want to believe me, Charlotte. While I won't tell you my motives for wanting this particular territory, I'm not going to be dishonest about it. This is confusing. Ray and the others seemed certain that there was a senior witch. What does this all mean? Sayoka touches my shoulder. I flinch, expecting her to attack me. To my surprise, she merely looks at me sadly. I know I'm not making a whole lot of sense now, but I'm being honest with you. In fact, to show you I don't mean any harm, why don't you continue to walk with me? What should I do? Maybe I can get her to warm up to me if I go with her. Pennies! Alright, Sayoka. Sounds like a plan. Besides, it's way better than sneaking around. Smart choice, let's go. Sayoka and I continue to walk along the streets of the town. So if you're not working with anyone, what are you doing all around town for? I'm just doing errands and I'm trying to familiarize myself with the city. It'll be useful when fighting against your comrades. You're that serious about winning, huh? I told you as much. And I'd appreciate you not telling them this, but they're a lot stronger than I initially did, though thought they were. Even that clumsy one. You mean Hanoka? Yes, that was her name, wasn't it? We literally go to class together. Sayoka blushes. Like I said, I'm still familiarizing myself. That being said, I'm glad I decided to explore on such a nice sunny day. This city is quite lovely. It's definitely a place worth protecting. I can see why the magical girls want to keep it away from me. That's why I can't afford to lose. If you lose, will that mean you have to leave this city forever and not come back? They can't force me, obviously. But it would be definitely awkward. I'm sure they hate me enough as it is. Sayoka frowned and looks down at the ground. Does she feel bad about fighting us? I don't think they hate you. They're just passionate about protecting everyone. Like I said, I'm sure if you got to know them, you guys would get along. Sayoka goes quiet. She then looks off into the distance. There's a dumpling stand over there. Why don't we have some? I never say no to food. Sayoka, buy some freshly roasted dumplings for us. Sayoka and I... Can I ask you something else? It depends on the question. Why do you talk to me? You keep saying you don't want to consort with the magical girls. But every time I approach you, you don't avoid me. Sayoka's eating her dumpling thoughtfully. I suppose it's because you were willing to give me a chance. Even if I keep saying I'm your enemy, that never stopped you from being kind to me. You can think of it as me returning the favor. I suppose it's also because you remind me of myself. I do? Well, my former self. I used to be able to let people into my life, but as a witch, I can't do that anymore. I'm thankful that there are at least some one who's trying to let me be theirs. Even if I keep pushing them away. Apart from me, foolishly hopes you'll even keep trying. Then that's just what I'll have to do. Sayoka's face turns a light pink, and then she smiles. Good. I reach Hanoka's home just as I change into my familiar. Guess I'm a fluffy animal again. Charlotte, you're back. I'm so relieved. I was worried you'd transform while you were still outside. Juna, I thought you girls were fighting shadows. You hadn't reported back, so I thought I'd be best to come here in case you got into trouble. Oh, right, Sayoka. About that, I explained my encounter with Sayoka. I'm sorry. I should have been more careful while spying on her. Pennies! You did a good job, Charlotte. So, she denies having a senior witch? Do you think she's lying? The thing is, I don't. Normally, magical girls and witches can sense one another's energy. But I haven't felt another magical energy recently. Or perhaps there isn't another witch, or they avoid being inside the city. We can report our findings to Ray once we're together again. Thank you for taking the time to help us, Charlotte. Will you be going back out to find Hanoka and Ray? I'll wait until they come back. It'll give us a chance to get to know each other better. Besides, it'd be inappropriate to leave you unprotected while you're a familiar. How should I respond? Just because I'm a small creature doesn't mean I'm useless. I could take care of myself. I even enhance your magical powers, right? Juna giggles. Oh.
Tell a joke.
You're right, I apologize for patronizing you. Juna gives me a pat on the head. You're an incredible strong familiar. I shouldn't underestimate you. Are you teasing me again? Actually, I'm being quite serious. You've trained a bit with Hanoka, but I think I could help you activate some more independent spells. Juna takes my paws into her hands. Close your eyes and match your energy with mine. Oh, I can't help but purr again. A new and warm light surrounds both Juna and me. I can sense you. Good. Now I want you to focus on the desire to protect others. I focus all of my energy. When I open my eyes, I notice a magic lamp hovering in front of me. That's perfect! This is a magic barrier. As a familiar, you'll be able to use it to shield Hanoka in battle. I'm sure you can grow as a familiar. You'll learn other spells too. Thanks, Juna. I'm happy to help. Juna, always so kind. I wonder. Say, Juna, what do you think of Sayoka? Do you think she's a bad person? Well, Anoka may disagree with me, but I don't think so she is. Perhaps I'm naive for thinking this, but I like to think everyone is a secretly good deep down inside. And those are who do evil things so because they don't know any better. How should I react? I smile and nodly, smiling and nod. I think it's admirable to think the best of others. I wish more people could be like that. It's so easy to distrust those around us, to expect the worst, especially from new people. I'm glad you agree. Ray and I often get into arguments about exactly this. You do? Juna nods. She slumps down on Hanoka's sofa and sighs heavily. Ray, you see, is rather a pragmatic magical girl. She's talented in so many ways, and she knows how to judge a threat and when to take it out. I always try to look at the bright side of things, but Ray thinks I need to be more careful. Being careful doesn't mean you have to be cynical, though. Maybe. But sometimes I wonder if I make myself too vulnerable that way. I do my best to present myself as a strong leader at school and as a magical girl singer. But maybe this more optimistic side of me makes me look weak. She looks down for a moment. When I become a magical girl, I swear to carry the burden of others. I wanted to help others the way I was helped so long ago. Back then, it was a very desperate place. I didn't think there was any hope whatsoever, but it all took was one person helping me to believe there was good in the world. I would like to be the person who gives hope to others too. Juna's eyes widen when we make eye contact and she blushes. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk your ear off. I shouldn't be complaining about my problems to you. But like listening to you, I want to be there for you, Juna. And when I can't help but purr again. You do? I nod and move closer to her. Pennies! I think each and every one of us appreciates being helped. It's also what inspires us to help one another, because we know how much it means to us. You'll never have to worry about being vulnerable around me. In a way, being vulnerable is its own kind of strength. Only those who are truly strong know when it isn't a weakness. Juna's gaze softens and she gently strokes my back, and I can't help but purr to it. You may be my junior, but you're definitely wise beyond your years. It makes me happy that Hanoka has such a trustworthy familiar by her side. It almost makes me jealous that you're not my familiar. Then Hanoka will have to take... You and Hanoka will have to take turns with me. My cheeks instantly heat up and I purr more. Juna giggles.
Tell a joke.
Even if you're not my familiar, I can at least say you're my ally. And that I can trust you. Whether if it's in fighting in battle or just talking to you intimately like this. Our conversation is cut short when the door opens. Hanoka enters the room. Hanoka, you're back. Well, if it isn't Charlotte, my supposed familiar, or should I rather say traitor? Uh-oh, this can't be good. Oh, here's I'm gonna wrap up the video. If you like the video, please do me a favor and punch the like button in the face like a boss and high fives all around. Oh, and if you just joined us, you're welcome. Glad you made it here, and I hope you all enjoy your stay. And always remember, the most important character is you, the reader. May Abimaki out.